Now, one thing that we always hear about too when we talk about what's in it for me, well, am I going to get a pay raise? Am I going to get a bonus? It's not always about the money. A lot of times we focus on the money, but it's not really about the money. How many of you have heard of someone leaving a job to take a pay cut to get away from a bad manager? Yep, absolutely. When people value themselves more than they value the paycheck, they will leave. And I've talked to a lot of these bosses. And I've said, you know, you've got a high turnover of staff here. You know, maybe that's a warning sign that something needs to be addressed. He goes, let them go, I don't need them. In this economy, I can get someone else to do that job like that. In fact, in this economy, I can probably get someone to do that job even cheaper. I'll be saving money. And I say, yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you will. Until they find out they're working for you, and they're going to be gone out the door as well. And if you want to know what it really costs a company to have a high turnover in staff, look at the HR costs. Look at the workers' comp insurance, or the unemployment insurance. Look at all the different things that they end up paying because they have a high turnover. Look at the low productivity because people are always in training, and you don't have those long-term employees that just know the job. So it does have a huge cost on the company that you see more than the paycheck. So if we can identify that and identify what makes our team tick, you'll be amazed at what you can get a team to accomplish. When I was in Toastmasters and I took that first step into the executive leadership, Lieutenant Governor of Marketing, I actually stole an idea from another district, because Toastmasters, as much of life, operates on S&D technology, which is steal and distribute. So I stole an idea from another district, which was M&Ms stood for membership and marketing. And I bought these little packets of M&Ms. I bought them by the case at Costco. And every time I went to an event, I'd say, stand up if you helped to start a new club. And everyone that stood up, I'd throw them a pack of M&Ms from across the room. And I'd say, stand up if you helped rescue a struggling club. And people would stand up, and I'd throw them a pack of M&Ms from across the room. And I'd say, stand up if you recruited a new member into Toastmasters. And they'd stand up, and I'd throw them a pack of M&Ms from across the room. And it never failed. Someone at the end of that meeting would come up to me and go, I didn't get my M&Ms. Okay, well, did you do one of these three things? Well, no. We'll do one of these three things, and you'll get your M&Ms. I got phone calls from people. I got emails from people. I'm sure some were even sending smoke signals, telling me, hey, I did this. I'm going to be at this next event. You better be there with your M&Ms. Which goes to prove people will work for peanuts, especially when coated in chocolate and a colorful candy shell. Now, what was great about this was that it met very simple rules. I have 4 very simple rules for any incentive program you ever want to do. Number 1, keep it simple. If you cannot explain your incentive in 3 simple sentences or less, it's too complicated. Incentives drive behaviors. Metrics drive behaviors. When you try and combine too many behaviors into one incentive, it's going to confuse people. And if they're confused, they just won't do it. So keep it simple. If you can't explain it in 3 simple sentences or less, and I say simple sentences, you shouldn't use 7 ands in that one sentence. That doesn't count. 3 simple sentences or less, keep it simple. Number 2, make it public. When you can praise somebody in public, it not only motivates the person that got the reward, but it motivates the person who comes up to you afterwards and goes, I didn't get my M&Ms. It motivates them to realize, well, hey, if Joe can get rewarded for doing this, I can get rewarded for doing this. And I want that reward. So you not only motivate the people who achieve to keep achieving, you motivate the people who have not yet achieved to achieve as well. Number 3, make it fun. It's got to be something that's fun. So what's fun to your team? Candy is almost universally fun. But if you have something that's very specific to your team, something that you can do to make it fun, then make it fun. It doesn't have to be candy. But what I will say is number 4, keep it inexpensive. And the reason I say keep it inexpensive is because you want it to be sustainable. You want it to be something you can constantly do again and again and again and not have to worry about the budget. You want it where something that you can reward everyone who does it and not have to worry about the budget. Because when you see these rewards that say, whoever sells the most gets this big whopping prize, Well, when you do that, whoever does the most, you've de-incentivized your team and disenfranchised half of your team right from the beginning. The other half will be disenfranchised later. The first half that's disenfranchised is disenfranchised because they go, I've got no chance. There's no way I can do that. Oh, well, I don't have the right territory. I don't have the right clients. You know, Dean over there, he's got all the right connections and all the right clients. I know he's going to win. So I'm just not even going to try. So by saying whoever does the most, all my not going to try people are not going to try. In fact, I might see a drop in their productivity because now they're trying less than they already were. And the other half will be disenfranchised when Dean wins and they worked their tails off and didn't. When they missed it by like a fraction of a percent and they didn't get it, I mean, they'll understand, of course, but they're also going to feel like I worked my tail off and I got nothing. So when you can do everyone who passes this post wins, you're going to encourage everyone to participate. And even those people that say, oh, I don't have a chance, when they see everyone else getting rewarded, they'll go, well, maybe I do. And they'll pick it up. And because it's not whoever does the most, when someone sees someone else not performing, they'll go, hey, have you tried this? Have you tried this? Have you tried this? They'll start offering suggestions because they're not giving away their own reward. It's not a competition, it's collaboration. So when you can do these things, it helps your team to set it up in that way. And how many of you are fisher, like love fishing in here? Any fishermen in here, fisherwomen? Great. So when you go fishing, if I go out and I go fishing and I buy the best reel, the best rod, and I got a bright shiny new hook, and I throw it out into the water, am I fishing? I am. I haven't set myself up for success because I'm missing one key ingredient, the bait. I'm fishing, I'm actively engaged and heavily invested in fishing, but I haven't set myself up for success because I need the right bait. Now, if you know people that are really into fishing, they know the time of day, the type of fish they're going for, the type of water conditions, whether it's a sandy bottom or grassy bottom, everything they know changes their bait strategy. Every little piece of information changes their bait strategy because they're laser focused on exactly the type of fish they want to get and exactly the type of environment they want to get that fish. What a wonderful lesson for marketing. What a wonderful lesson for incentive and reward programs. To think about in those terms, what's my bait strategy for who I'm trying to get? What's my bait strategy for motivating these workers? Am I doing something that appeals to me? You know, if I see a prize that says whoever does this gets a golf trip to go play at St. Andrews in Scotland. Well, that's a wonderful trip. I would love that trip. How many of you play golf here? So very few of you even golf. How many of you hate travel and really are kind of afraid of getting on a plane and crossing that big ocean? There are people there are people out there. So if I do this big grandiose prize that appeals to me, it may not appeal to all of the team that I'm trying to motivate. I don't need to motivate me. I've already got me on my side. I need to motivate them. So what does my team find attractive? You know, maybe it's something, even if you did something like Redskins tickets. How many people in here would love Redskins tickets? So it depends on who they play, right? So even something like Redskins tickets in the nation's capital in Redskin country where they practice in Ashburn, and we're so close to the practice field, even that isn't something that simple that's going to motivate the entire team. So you've really got to look at things, what is really going to motivate the entire team? What is really going to be something fun that everyone can appreciate? And you can't answer that until you really think about who that team is and who those people are. Because I will say this, everyone on your team is unique. I hear managers all the time, I treat everyone on my team exactly the same. Well, that's your first mistake. Because they're not all exactly the same. I appreciate that you're trying to be fair and even-handed, and that's good, but not everyone is the same. You know, we've always grown up with the golden rule, treat others as you want to be treated, right? That's the preschool version of the golden rule. The adult version of the golden rule is he who has the gold makes the rules, right? But there's a gentleman named Tony Alessandro, and he has a book called The Platinum Rule. And the platinum rule is treat others the way they want to be treated. I happen to love practical jokes and playful banter. Not everyone does. I don't understand why, but not everyone does. So if I treat everyone the way I want to be treated, I'm going to alienate my team members who don't want to be treated that way. But if I treat all of my team members exactly the way they want to be treated all the time, I'm always going to be opening up doors and building influence.